So I hear you're looking to make your own Atlas server. Well, you came to the right place, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be showing you exactly how to set up an Atlas server, and we're going to be doing this on gPortal. These are absolutely the servers I recommend getting your Atlas server on. As you can see, I have a ton of servers hosted on gPortal, and they are the only ones so far that have actually been able to handle the server requirements that I need from a game. So today we're going to be showing you exactly how to set this up, and if you are going to get a server from gPortal, check the link in the description and you'll get 5% off your order. So, pretty awesome, but we're going to go ahead and get into this. I hope you all enjoy it. If you find this helpful, feel free to leave a like. But first things first, you need to make sure you have enough slots. Now, the way gPortal work is you get a game cloud, and on this game cloud you have slots, and you can have multiple servers on this game cloud, and then you just assign the slots to that specific server. So you can see I have a bunch of different servers here, a total of 100 slots on this game cloud, and I can assign them to any of these servers as I like, depending on how popular they are at the time. I can kind of just change them around. Now, I've got this one game cloud here, which is dedicated to my Atlas servers. You can see the Titan Company 3.0, and I'm actually recreating this server right here, and I'm upgrading all the slots on it. So we're going to do this real quick. All you need to do is click on Add Server here, and we're going to select Atlas. Now, depending on what region you are in, you're going to select your region. So we're doing Atlas US East. And slot number, we want to make sure that we add enough slots. We're going to get into exactly what you need to do for this. Now, we're going to be doing a 4x4 map, which is 16 servers is what it's going to take. And we want 30 slots per server, so we need a total of 480 slots on this server to make it work. So we're going to go ahead and create that server right now. And then we're going to branch this server off into the extended servers that we're going to require to make this whole cluster of maps. So it's a really cool system and how this works, and it stitches a whole bunch of different servers together, but they're all based off of the first one you make. So that might sound a little confusing, but basically when you add your server to the game cloud, just make sure when you go through this video, you'll see I'll show all the options currently available, and you can calculate the amount of slots you're going to need for that. I highly recommend having it right off the bat just where you need it, but you can add on to these servers and at a later point in time. We'll get into that in just a moment. Okay, we have finally got our server installed, and all of this stuff at the beginning of the video is going to make a lot more sense once we get into this. So we're going to click on our server that we just installed with the 480 slots. And we're going to add expansion servers. But we're going to do a couple things before we start adding these expansion servers. And that's what I was talking about, where we're going to need 16. So we're going to add 15 expansion servers onto this first one. But what we're going to do is we're going to show off the different maps that we can get real quick. And that way you can calculate how many slots you're going to need, and you can check it out. So we have 1x1 all biomes. And these are all custom maps created specifically for gPortal. It makes your life extremely easy, and it's really easy to use. So we got 1x1, 1x1, 1x1. This is desert, snow, and then all biomes. We've got a 2x1, all biomes, 2x2, all biomes, 3x3, 4x4, and then this is the full Atlas map, 225 servers to run this. Now, you do need to have at least 10 slots per server. So say you wanted to do a 4x4 map, you could theoretically do this with 160 slots, assigning 10 per. And we'll show you exactly what that looks like here. So we're going to do the 4x4 map, and that's going to pop up here. Now what this means is they're going to be 4 in each row. So we got 4 across and 4 down. So each of these blocks is its own server. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, total of 16 different servers. And these are going to be your extension servers that create all of this. So it's a really cool system. And then we can tell exactly which ones are our free ports, which are going to be our spawn zones. And then we're going to assign these to our servers. So we got this server right here, which is our first one, which means we still need to add 15 more off of this first server that we created. So I'm going to make this first server here. I'm going to make it a free port. So I'm going to make this be, let's go with C3. I'm going to make it C3 down here. I'm going to go ahead and submit this. Accept. And we're just starting off with this. Now, obviously, we can expand upon this. Now, say you don't have enough money to buy out this full block yet. Say you want to just start with 4 servers with like 30 slots apiece. That would be a total of, 120 slots to get all of these. You can do that if you want. Now, just keep in mind, the servers that you get, are you need to make sure you can cross into them. So if you want to start off with not adding the entire block, and you just want to start off with 4 and expand upon it, you can do that. But you would need to add C2 or a B2, C2, C3, and B3. And that way you could log into all of these, and then when you have more money or you just want to expand out, you can do that if you so desire. But just make sure it's servers that you can cross into. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually edit this map. And what we're going to do is set up basically everything that we want from this server, and then we're going to add our expansion servers. Now I have a theory that this will help make sure that all of your settings get perfectly installed into all of your extension servers. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I could be wrong on that theory, but it seems to be working pretty well. So we're going to go into our basic settings here, and this is where we're going to change some stuff. We're going to change the name, and we're going to go with the Titan Company, because that's going to be the name of our server. 480 slots, we can keep that exactly the same. This is where we're going to set up the server admin password and the server password. I'm going to set that up off screen. And then you can set your autosave period. I'm going to leave this at 15 minutes because it does lag out the server. That's pretty much standard for any game. When it saves, it causes a little bit of lag. So I'm going to leave it at 15 minutes. If we roll back, it's not huge. I like 15 minutes. Seems to be about the sweet spot. You can do admin commands in chat if you so desire. Difficulty offset, highly recommend leaving that at 0 right now because the alphas are incredibly difficult. And if you increase this, the Dynos are going to be even more difficult. So they need to lessen the power of the current Dyno. So I'm going to leave difficulty offset at 0. If you want the game to be harder, increase that number. Day cycle speed scale is set at 1, 1, 1. Now, if you want the nighttime to pass faster, you can double this. Typically on my ARC servers, I set this to 2, and I set this to 0.7. Now, for Atlas, I don't know if this is going to cause any issues, so I'm going to leave this at 1 for now. I had set it before, and I didn't see any issues on my previous server, but I'm going to leave those at 1. I don't think it's going to cause an issue, but I want to just make sure that this server is as perfect as possible. Now, this is where you can set PvE option if you so desire. Now, the Dyno count multiplier. Supposedly, these servers are set at 0.2, and that's where I found the sweet spot. If you leave it at 0.8, you're going to have overspawns. And in the INI settings, it should be set at 0.2 already, but for some reason on the back end, it sets it to 0.8, so I highly recommend putting this to 0.2, and you can always increase it later, but you definitely don't want to explode your servers with overspawns. So set that to 0.2, and I'm going to go ahead and save these settings in this block. And then this is where you can change some of the other stuff here. So we've got allow third person, enable health bars. Obviously, you want to keep those on. Some things that you're going to probably want to change is the XP multiplier. I like to set this at about 3. Well, I'm setting it a little bit higher because I'm actually wiping the other server and starting over. So I'm going to give my players on here a little bit of an advantage and give them increased multipliers for a few days. Harvest amount multiplier for a server is pretty good, around 2.5. That was what the boosted official rates were. I wouldn't recommend going above 5 times because that can lag out server when you're gathering too much with dinosaurs, although that doesn't really seem to be an issue on Atlas because the creatures don't harvest as much as they did in Ark. But between, I'd say 2.5 and 5 is right about the sweet spot. I'm going to put it at 5 as my max boosted rates for the server just to help people out after this wipe. Player water drain multiplier, I like to set that at 0.6. Makes life a lot easier for everybody, especially in this harsh world. We're going to set food drain multiplier to be the same. So far we've got XP 3, harvest amount 5, player drain water is at 0.6. Food drain at 0.6. Now you can clamp home server XP. If you do this, this will make people not settle in your free ports. Obviously, if you want to live in your free ports, you're not going to want to clamp the server XP, but we have a ton of maps on here, so I am going to clamp the server XP to 10. So basically, once they hit level 10, they're going to have to go to a different area to get XP. Now, we're going to use claim flags. I don't think we're going to change anything else. You can change your Dyno food drain multiplier as well. Makes keeping dinosaurs or creatures significantly easier. Taming speed multiplier, 10 is pretty good. 15 makes it a lot easier. I wouldn't recommend going over 15 unless you just want to instantly tame stuff. It's not going to be a challenge at that point. I feel like I'm going to put it at 12. 15 is a little high, I think. So then we got the Dyno stamina, but aside from that, that's all we want. I do want floating damage text, so we're going to turn that on. And that is all the settings we're going to change. There really isn't anything else right now, but once we get breeding in, those are some settings that I would recommend changing as well. And you can check out my tutorial on how to make a breeding server when that comes out. Now, once you're done with your basic settings, we're going to want to add the servers. We're going to go back to cluster overview, and this is where we're going to start adding our expansions. Now this is our first server, and for our 4x4 map, we need to add 15 more. So we're going to click add expansion server, and we're going to see a new server pop up, and it's going to install. We're just going to give this a second. We're going to let it install before we add another one. Theoretically, installing multiple at the same time shouldn't cause an issue, but when you're creating a server like this that requires everything to be perfect, I highly recommend just letting it install. It's going to take a little bit longer, but in the long run, playing it safe is going to save you a lot of time. As you can see, as your servers install, it'll automatically divvy out all of your slots amongst each server. So we started off with 480. We've got 4 servers total, so it's divvied them out 120 to each one. We're going to add our, what is this, 4th expansion, 5th server. And this will automatically pull down and divvy out the slots amongst all of those. So it's a really easy system. You don't have to worry about much. Once you've set all the settings and added the expansions, all we're going to have to do is go into a maps and assign the grid points. Alright, now that we've got all of our expansion servers installed one by one, I would recommend going back into the Titan company here and just resave your settings a few more times just to ensure that it's pushed to all of your other servers. Not mandatory, but better safe than sorry. But now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and go to the maps area, and we're going to assign each of our expansion servers one of the sections of the map. Now you can see here that the Titan company already has C3. Now these will all be renamed to the Titan company once you actually activate them. That's when it'll pull in all the information. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to do right down the list here. So A1 through A4, just to keep easy track of it. Then we're going to do B1, B2. Now we've already got C3 down there, so we're not going to have to do that one. We're going to do all the Bs. And then we're going to do C1. Oh, God. C2 and C3. Now, what you could do is if you really wanted your last server for all the servers to be in order, you're just going to have to make sure, if you're doing like a 4x4, if you wanted this server to be in order, you would just make this a D4, but don't change it once it's already been assigned. So I can't change, I could. It'll allow me to change the server, but I do not recommend doing that because it'll create a duplicate save for that particular map on there, and it could cause issues. So I highly recommend once you assign one of these a map sector, do not change it. So try and make it perfect the first time. Since we already have C3 installed, I'm going to make that C3, C4. Then we're going to do the last ones here. And we're going to be good to go. Go ahead and submit this. Just make sure that we have not duplicated any of these. So we got A1 through A4, B1 through B4, C1, C2, C3, and C4, D1 through 4. We're going to go ahead and hit submit. And we're going to make sure that it saves. I'm just going to hit submit a few times because you never know. Better safe than sorry, I say. There we go. All right. Your settings have been saved. Please restart your expansion servers. Now we are officially good to go. Now all we need to do is just start them all, and we're going to test them. So let's go ahead and hit start all. And this is going to take a few minutes. These servers actually boot up incredibly quickly, so it's not going to take that much time, but we're going to go ahead and wait here just for a second. When you first start up your servers, you're going to notice that they're all going to update. Once they update, they're going to acquire the names, and when you refresh this page, you'll see that each of these actually has its sector assigned to it. So we're going to see these all here get renamed. All we need to do is just refresh the page and we'll see these reacquire. So these numbers here actually disappear once the page is loaded. Sometimes they stick around for a little while, but more often than not, they disappear. But you can refresh the page to get them to reappear if you're trying to find a specific server. And there we go. All of our servers have pulled down all of the information that we put into the original server, and that is a very good sign. Once this one is done updating, we're going to log in and just make sure we can log in and create a character and access the server. Now, if you really want to go gung-ho, I would recommend going to each sector. You can use, if you're an admin on your server, you can use cheats to fly around. We'll cover that here in just a second. Once you've created your character and logged in, you can do something like this to test out the zones. Now, if you've done all of this stuff correctly, as I've shown it in the video, there shouldn't be any issues with your server, and everyone should be good to play. Now, if you are curious how to do this, you just have to enable cheats and then put in your password. So you're going to hit the tilde on your keyboard, and you're going to type in enable cheats, all one word, and you're going to type in your admin password. Now, if you want to fly around like this, you can type in cheat fly, and you'll be able to walk around and explore different zones. Now, there's plenty of other admin commands that you can use, and they're all the same as Ark Survival Evolved. So if you're curious about that, you can look up all the commands. You can also put in tilde and do show my admin manager to pop up the admin panel. This will show you a lot of the admin commands to be able to put people into... Basically, you can do anything you need in this particular screen here for adminning your server, and once mods are added, it's probably going to be significantly easier. But that is it for today's video. I hope it came in handy for creating your own Atlas server. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you are looking to create your own server, make sure to check out the link in the description or in the comments for a 5% discount for G Portal. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.